general, you know, as the season gets ready to ramp up, what do you make of the identity of this group? How are things coming together? How are things going to be stylistically different from last year?
Yeah, I mean, it's been fun. It's been really exciting. We're sort of over halfway through this extended training camp, and I think the players are getting a little antsy to get going. We scrimmaged Texas in a closed scrimmage this weekend, which was good to face somebody else. But we still have a lot of work to do. I really love the group. I think we have a high ceiling. We have a number of pieces. I think versatility will be a thing for us, a positive thing for us. We're younger than people think. You know, playing a couple of freshmen in significant roles, and at the same time we have some really good veterans. So the identity is still coming together, but I think we're trying to play really fast in transition. We run a lot of pro style type, you know, open set offenses, allowing them to make decisions, and it's got to come together. But I like where we're going.
With Kiki and Talia, like, just what have you seen and what have they added to the team?
Talia, yeah, they're both okay. So they were critical grad transfers for us because they both had a lot of experience, and they've had a lot of experience winning, which is very unique, I think, in college basketball to get transfers who have won as much as they have. They're really dynamic players, I think, high-level players, but they have been unafraid to lead, which is what we want them to do. They mesh really well with Juju, who's obviously really growing into her leadership voice as well, and you know, and Rhea. So they bring a veteran presence that mixes well with our youthful freshman exuberance.
Yeah, and you mentioned that you have like a lot of inexperience, a lot of freshman players, and you know, Juju had that leadership, but you know, obviously it's her second year. So how have you seen her growth into becoming like a more well-rounded leader, leading a team that has some new transfers and some people that haven't played yet?
Yeah. I mean, nothing she does surprises me anymore, as I said a lot of times last year, but she's come into this gym as a sophomore as a better player. You know, the game has slowed down for her. She's really manipulating defenses, picking people apart. She's probably led us in assists in nearly every practice, in addition to being, you know, a scoring threat at all times. And I think she's really found her voice a bit. You know, no matter how good you are as a freshman, you're still treading water sometimes, trying to figure out college basketball. So she's been able to, you know, be more vocal as well, and it's been fun to see.
What do you make of how Kennedy Smith is finding her role on this team as a defender, as an all-around player? Where do you see her kind of rotationally?
Yeah, you didn't see her today because she was out, but she's a hugely important piece for us. I think she's going to play a ton of minutes. She plays a number of positions. I don't know that I've seen a freshman as advanced defensively as she is, so we're going to rely on her on that end, but obviously, I think what makes her special is that she's an elite offensive talent, but she's just as comfortable to make the hockey assist or the one more pass, the simple plays. But we also expect her to be a real offensive threat as well from a number of different spots on the floor.
It looks like Avery has been, you know, a key part of, you know, what you guys are doing, the first team and whatnot. What have you seen from her and, you know, some of the bigs and whatnot?
Yeah, so Avery Howell, number one, just comes in ready to compete. She played with the Canadian national team all summer, and I think that experience against grown women and pros probably got her more ready for college basketball than she could have even imagined. So she's really tough. She learns quickly. She doesn't tend to make the same mistake twice, and she shoots the ball really well. So she's also, you know, will be rotational for sure.
I mean, you already mentioned you have a lot of young players on the team, and the game in Paris is just a few days away. So what do you think that type of exposure could mean for them?
For the young players?
Yeah.
I mean, all of it's great. I think, you know, the stage has been elevated for all of us. We haven't shied away from any expectations. We understand that comes with a lot of responsibility, but you know, we've talked about that from off the court, the way we handle ourselves and our social media, to on the court and being, I think, probably the most televised team in the country this year. Everything's a big stage, and we got to be ready. There's definitely a target on our back, so we're looking forward to it.
You think about oh, sorry, go ahead.
Hey, Coach, what do you think are some of the key elements for this team to continue off of last year, the success of last year?
Yeah, I mean, we're definitely a different team. We're different personnel-wise. Some of our schemes are different, but the culture piece remains the same. You know, when you lose in the Elite Eight, as much gratitude as we had for all the things we did last year, the bar was raised the second that game ended. And that's a credit to the people who came before, not just last year, but before that. The bar is now higher, and we want to be, you know, one of the best teams in the country. And so we're trying to build off, you know, those habits and shaping our own identity, but having that competitive excellence every day.
When you think back to like before the 2022 season, where you're just trying to make the NCAA tournament to where you're now, the expectations are so high. Can you just talk about the growth that this program has had from that point to now?
Yeah. I mean, it's been something that I probably imagined but couldn't really visualize. You all didn't see all the hard times. Like, there were some hard times building it. It's rebuilds are difficult. There were tears that 12 and 18 year, mostly from me. And then that next group that came in with 7 transfers and scraped and clawed our way to be an NCAA tournament team. I think about that team all the time. They laid the groundwork, and then Juju and the Ivies and everyone came in last year. We made the next step, and I think everyone wants to say not enough, and keep going. And everyone who's been a part of this has a hand in that, from our administration to our fans. But it's on us. The onus is on us to get better every day, to not read where we are or where we're ranked, but to just show up every day with an expectation that we're never going to be perfect, but we want to chase perfection, and try to find excellence somewhere along the way. I definitely feel like we're a neat mix of youthful energy. 7 freshmen, they bring a joy every day, but also with veteran presence and a lot of expectations. I just think the culture in the gym is different. We've got a lot of people who care about winning, a lot of people who really want to be in the gym extra and put the USC on their chest in front of everything else. And that takes time to build that. And so I do feel like that's what we have, but we got to challenge them every day to get better.
And also, chemistry is such a huge element. Is that well believed so far? Is that
It's been great. A lot of the chemistry starts in the off-season, off the court. We did a team retreat and we hang out together a lot, and it grows organically. But on-the-court chemistry is different than off-the-court chemistry, and I've really put a lot of trust in them, that a lot of the stuff we do is reads and decision-making and pro-style stuff, and it's been really fun to see that develop. Kiki and Juju, for example, just figuring out their spots on the floor and learning each other, and the freshmen coming in and doing the same, and Rhea, and that's been, to me as a basketball nerd and person, just watching that develop is fun.
Luca, last question is Scott.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Lindsay, you see the Nike deal, the Gatorade deal for Juju, you mentioned this is going to be maybe the most televised team in the country this year. What is the continued challenge for you of managing just a presence like that, knowing how big your star is going to rise in a post-Caitlin Clark era of women's collegiate basketball? How are you approaching that? How are you thinking about that this season?
The biggest challenge for me is how many things I can put on that Christmas list of what she's going to buy me. No, I'm just kidding. Juju makes it easy because she puts this team, she puts basketball, she puts me, she puts USC above anything individual for her. She really does. I see it on a day-to-day basis. But I also believe, when she came here, I entered into a partnership with her, that this is what I wanted for her. I wanted her to, number one, be happy, healthy, and successful, but I believe that if she could be great here, it would open doors for her, and that's what I want for her. Like, I'm crazy kind of thinker too. I want her to own something one day, not just play in the WNBA, own a team. So to see her kind of build this with her ability on the court and off the court, like, she deserves all of it. And at the same time, she's a 19-year-old who's just focused on winning and focused on helping me and this team build towards excellence. And so I just try to do right by her and let her have her space to be great, and teach her and coach her and mentor her where I can.